This time of the year, I clean them, make sure they work okay, and boil them in a big pot with spruce or cedar brush.
Why?
What, to give them the scent of the forest instead of the scent of men.
You don't use gin traps?
Well, no one should use gin traps. With this trap here, the animal's dead before it knows what happened. I'll show you. Like that. But with gin traps, you know something? I found beaver with no front legs.
Chopped off by a gin trap?
Sure. And in the forest, it makes it pretty difficult to survive.
Joe?
Hi, Johnny. Good to see you. On vacation?
Just for a few days?
Staying on the reserve?
That's right, with my uncle. Joe, maybe you can help me.
Glad to if I can.
Oh, a guy called Picard?
Eddie Picard? Yes, I know him.
What is he?
Ooh, hunter, trapper, guide.
Poacher?
Could be.
Right now, he's poaching on the reserve.
That's not good. Game on the reserve is for the people of the reserve.
Sure, some of our people depend on it for a living. But Picard's hunting and trapping there, out of season.
How come you know this?
2 or 3 of our people have seen him and talked to him about it. But he's a tough guy. He's not afraid to point a gun.
Somebody should stop him.
If nobody else does, I'm gonna stop him. If I have to, Joe, I'm gonna kill him.
Look, Joe, you don't really think he meant it. Don't try and tell me that.
I don't know, he was pretty mad.
If it is Picard, are you quite sure he's poaching on the scale Johnny Nippick says? Sure he didn't just knock off a jackrabbit and the story got a little exaggerated?
Pretty sure, why not?
Johnny's more or less a city man now.
You think he's stupid?
I think he's probably lost a little of the edge off his woodcraft, possibly begun to get a little over-emotional about life on the reserve.
You think so? You didn't start from nothing on an Indian reserve. Go through the Indian school, get a scholarship, go to the city, go through university, get a degree. Now, this doesn't make a guy over-emotional. It makes him tough.
All right, Joe, let's stop arguing. The plain fact is that if Picard is taking game off the reserve, in or out of season, I'm as concerned as anybody, right?
Sure.
Johnny's staying on the reserve?
Yeah, with the chief, Cheetah Pasquet.
Do me a favor. Go up to the reserve, talk to Cheetah Pasquet, anybody else who may know something. Get the facts.
Okay.
I'll be up in that area tomorrow in the egg beater. You can call me on the walkie-talkie.
All right.
Joe. Take a couple of witnesses with him.
He's a big guy.
Or you can get them bigger. Sometimes 7 feet high to the withers. And weighing around 1,200 pounds.
I wouldn't want to argue with one of them.
Well, you wouldn't if you got any sense. Well, you've seen enough of them? Okay, we can move on, huh?
Hey, Joe!
It's misfired. Someone tried to clear the breach, but the ejector's a little worn. You see here?
Dropped his rifle as he fell, I guess.
You stay here. Eddie Picard. He's dead.
You mean he's been...
I mean just what I said.
Think that moose could have chased him? Couldn't have been near here. I think that size would have left plenty of traces.
I guess so, but nobody else seemed to have been around.
You thinking of Johnny Nippick?
Kind of.
Is Johnny as good a woodsman as you are, Joe?
At one time, maybe.
Would you have left any traces if you would have been around here and had a kind of an argument with Eddie Picard?
I think we better talk to George. Come on.
What gives, Joe? You found something?
Picard. No hurry, he's dead.
Dead?
At 2 minutes past 12, he was hit on the head with something pretty big and hard. Maybe a chunk of rock.
Who hit him?
Maybe nobody. Maybe a rock fell him. How would I know?
You seem to know quite a lot, like when it happened.
I'm just guessing. That's when his watch got broken.
Well, that's a pretty fair assumption. I'll go and take a look, then I'll pick up Sergeant Scott. How about you?
I think I'll go talk to Chitapasky.
Okay.
You'll find him over there down a little cliff beside a river.
Thanks. Oh, Joe, if you happen to meet Johnny Nippick, don't get involved.
You mean, don't tell him to make a break for it?
Just that.
Now, what makes you think he might want to?
Like you? I'm just guessing.
Looking for me, Joe?
I came to Dr. Chitapasky.
He's up there at the shack.
I have to tell him about Picard.
What about Picard?
He's dead.
Somebody killed him?
Maybe. I found him a little way down the river.
That's too bad. But I told you this would happen.
Sure.
When did he die?
Around noon.
Lucky for me. I was just leaving Lynx Paw Lake. I caught some nice trout. Ask Chitapasky, he's got them.
Hey, you looking for Johnny?
I just talked to him. Tells me he got some nice trout in Lynxpaw Lake.
Yeah, they're in the back there. You want to see them?
Oh, sometime. When did he get back here with them?
About 12:30.
You sure about that? Not a little before that or a little after?
Why?
I found Picard a couple of miles downriver. He was killed around 12 o'clock. Now, if Johnny was on Lynxpaw Lake around noon, he was 8 miles upriver from here and 10 miles upriver from where Picard was killed.
Go on.
But if Johnny was on Lynxpaw Lake at 12 o'clock, he couldn't have been here at 1/2
Unless he came down through the rapids.
Did he?
That's what he told me. He lost his canoe and swam ashore.
With his string of fish.
He says so. You believe him?
Yes, I believe him. But nobody else will.
It's a matter of mathematics, Joe. Look. There's where you found Picard. There's Cheetah Pasquet's place, a little over 2 miles. Now, Johnny could have made that easily in half an hour, right?
He wasn't there. He was on Lynxpaw Lake.
Okay. There's Lynxpaw, 8 miles up the river with a 3-mile portage around the rapids. He couldn't have done it, Joe. He's lying.
He came through the rapids. He didn't portage.
So he says.
You know those rapids, Joe?
Sure, I know them.
And the little Indian burial ground just below them?
Sure, I know that too.
A dozen guys have been buried there in the past 30 years. Guys who thought they could shoot those rapids.
And no one knows how many before that. It can't be done, and you know it, Joe. So I've got to hold Johnny. I've no choice.
For murder?
Well, we don't know if it was for murder until the inquest. But I've got to hold him until then. After that,
Because he told me he was going to kill Picard?
you and a lot of other people.
Because he came down to the Lynxpaw Rapids?
Because I think he's lying about that in order to fix himself an alibi.
And because he's an Indian, huh? Well, maybe I'm going to show you guys something. All right.
Going someplace?
A little fishing?
Can I come along?
Not this time, chum.
Why not?
A guy's got to be alone sometimes to think about life. I want to go and think about mine. Now, why don't you go and think about yours?
Okay.
That's fine.
Joe,
Yeah?
going any place in particular for this big thinking deal?
I don't know. I haven't fixed yet.
Lynxpaw Lake, maybe?
Could be. Pretty good fishing.
Are you crazy?
Sure, a little bit. Most of us are. Why?
You can't be all that crazy. You can't shoot those rapids in this old kayak. That thing wouldn't stay in one piece for half a minute. You wouldn't prove anything.
What do I need to prove? That Johnny Nippig's a good guy. Well, everybody knows that.
That he didn't kill Picard?
Look, maybe Picard slipped and fell. Maybe a rock fell on top of him. Maybe somebody dropped it. Now, we don't know. And nobody will ever know. So they can't hurt Johnny.
Just gotta prove it to yourself, I guess.
That's right. Don't tell anyone, please. This is my business.
Darn long way to take flowers up to that Indian burial ground every Sunday morning.
When I get back, I'll show you how to make little flowers that stay good for quite a long time.
What's been eating Chub the last couple of hours?
Kind of like a ghost at a wake. Hey, Chub! Get with it, Chub. They're not going to hit you with taxes yet.
I've got to tell somebody
Gotta tell somebody what?
about Joe. He's gonna shoot those rapids.
He's gonna what?
Shoot Link Claw's rapids.
Are you kidding? Why, for Pete's sake?
Just prove something, I guess.
Gotta stop him. When did he go?
Must have been a couple of hours.
We can catch him. Come on. Well, come on, Chub. You two get the horses ready. I'll be right there. XNY 556, save for Apple. Calling XNY 556. Come in, please. Over. George, Ted here. Listen, this is urgent. We need help. Or at least, I guess, Joe might be needing help. We must be pretty near the river. We'll leave the horses here. Come on, let's go. Joe gets into that. We've got to stop him. If we're not too late, come on.
GMJ Jack Apple Yellow calling XNY 556B for Bob. How do you read me?
Come in, please. Over.
XNY 556, B for Bob. Hey, George, we're getting pretty close to the top of the rapids. No sign of Joe yet. Over.
Keep looking, kids. Over and out.
You can't make it.
Look, go away! I'm scared enough without you playing around.
I can't hear you. Pull into the shore and we'll talk.
Yanagawa!
There he is. Hey, Joe. You've got to follow him. Come on.
maybe. Seems I went down about the same place as Johnny.
How come?
This is his paddle.
Well, you proved something, I guess, Joe.
Looks a bit bigger than the old one, Joe.
Around 3 feet. Next time I do this kind of thing, I want a little more weight.
Next time.
Are you kidding?
Now, when a guy stops thinking about the next time, it's about time he started to learn how to knit. Or something. Hi, Johnny.
Hi. Too bad about the old one.
Yep.
What did you prove?
Oh, that you're pretty careless. You left the paddle out there.
Well, I've been looking for you.
You going to arrest me?
I just had the result of the inquest. I think you're entitled to hear it. Accidental death. No evidence that anybody else was involved.
You going to let that stop you?
What do you mean?
You had no evidence before, but I was held for the inquest.
Well, I had no alternative. I had to ask you to stay around.
Do you think I don't know why?
I expect you do.
Because I'm an Indian. Because if someone was going to take the rap for this, why shouldn't it be an Indian?
Now, listen, son, you've got a great big chip on your shoulder and you don't need it. Get rid of it. It'll hurt you more than it hurts anybody else.
Well, it's true, isn't it? He'd no reason.
Only that you talk too much. Now you tell the whole world you're going to kill Picard, and then he gets killed.
Hey, Joe. Isn't that what you thought? That because Nippick was an Indian, he...
Me?
You said that to George and the sergeant.
Oh, that. I was just a little angry. Wanted to make them angry, too. I guess I did it then, huh?